Super Bug.
Welcome back everyone to another NRG on R-Type, and this time we're looking at R-Type DX on the Game Boy Color. This is probably, for my money, the finest handheld version of R-Type you can get. You'll also look, as you can see, got all the old versions on it as well. You've got the original R-Type 1 and 2 from the original Game Boy, and a colour enhanced version of both them games too, and of course R-Type DX game itself, which is a unique sort of version of R-Type in a lot of ways. This is obviously originally done by Irem, as we all know, Irem's most famous game, and brought to the Game Boy Color from Bits Software, obviously licensed from Nintendo, blah 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 blah. But here we go. As you can see, it's looking fantastic on the Game Boy Color here, really showcasing the power of the Game Boy Color. Giving it a good old push, which is lovely to see. It would have been nice if that Starfield was moving behind, but never mind. But we've got excellent graphics, excellent music here. I think the size of the sprites is really well done as well on this. It takes a lot of visual prowess from the original versions. I mean, they were pretty decent versions. You've still got the same problems, but we'll get to them in a minute. The thing is, though, when you're combining both the games together, it does make for a bit of an epic shooter. So you've got 11 stages in this in total. So you've got 6 of the stages from R-Type 1 and 5 stages from R-Type 2. That didn't do too well there. I got shot straight away, didn't I? What a terrible mistake that was. The colour's a little bit shifted here and there, but it doesn't matter because that really does look great. And of course it's got the usual cut downs, as we've seen on the other versions of R-Type on the Game Boy. But I tell you what, after a while you don't even notice that, because you really do get into the game. It's got a great turn of speed, really works very fluidly and very smooth. Not a lot of slowdown going on at all, so these cut downs probably really helped it, like for instance there, this the worm creature in the middle. A few less segments, should we say, a few less bullets on screen, a few less enemies here and there. And of course, unfortunately, in the R-Type 2 version, with R-Type 2, the extra weapons are missing, apart from the enhanced wave cannon, the super wave cannon. So you get that actually halfway through this. So if you defeat the Womb, as it used to be called in the original arcade, it then goes into 5 stages of R-Type 2, again with all the music and everything else, and all the usual familiar levels. But gives you the enhanced wave cannon, so it's a treat to play for all R-Type fans. Really well done, and I think the bosses actually are quite tougher in this. There is a bit of there's a few problems with him. We'll get to that after we've beaten old Dog Keratops here. Here he comes, wailing his tail, very smooth animation there. Mouth moving as well and everything. Of course, certain things you'll notice is that his belly monster is not coming in and out, and of course the shots are very limited. He's not shooting all the spirally little bullets from his head, and the main cannon coming out of his belly there is just 2 rings of death. But it's the same sort of technique: shoot the force into his belly and repeat ad nauseum until he's destroyed. It just takes a while though. The bosses are tougher, which is something which is always weird about the original, I always thought, R-Type 1 and 2, is that once you've got the bosses in their pattern, they're actually pretty easy to defeat, unlike the level itself. The level was always tougher than the actual boss. But it could have been a bit bigger as well, but again, impressive looking, not bad the way it destroys there, and flies into the next stage very smoothly. A little bit of flicker, as you can see. We had that with the, of course, the original versions. All the original versions had the flicker, but it's a lot reduced. It's not as noticeable, I suppose, in full colour. At least that's what I feel. Scrolling's pretty nice as well. So it's a feast for R-Type fans, this version of the game. Very, very good. It's quite impressive what they managed to cram into the Game Boy Color. Come on, the blue eye, the eyeballs are blue here, not green. But shoot them balls. They all could look like little sperms, of course. Which again is it's no accident they do that, because a lot of the Baidu's technology has got a lot of sort of pseudo-sexual representations to it. You know, things look like sexual organs and reproductive bacterium and microbes and all that kind of stuff. It's all very trying to get down that route of reproduction and life and mutation and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very clever, but of course it's Geiger inspired artwork of the Baidu. Here is the Gomander snake, slightly different pattern, and again the segments are reduced just like it is in the original version on the Game Boy. And the animation on Gomander looking actually pretty nice there with the little eye coming out. Not bad little colour scheme. Whoa, that was close. Yeesh. Got me pit on. The pit always flickers. That's one thing that doesn't annoy me. Is that the pit is always the bit. Sorry, not pit. The bit is always flickering most of the time. That's why nearly got a snake right up the jacksie there. I think people, Game Boy Color owners, would have been very pleased with that. There's a problem here that I don't quite like. Sometimes when you hit in the eyes of the bosses, the boss isn't really reacting to your hit, and so I'm hitting the eye there, and am I hitting it? I don't know, because the boss, this Commander boss isn't reacting there. Other bosses in other parts of the game do react, so and they'll flash or burst into flame or something like that. But and here we go. It's all over there. I'm not going to get to the R-Type 2 parts of it. That will take too long to get to them, but it does go into that. So you get the famous first three stages from, of course, the big ship, bit cut down, a bit like it is in the original version. Oh, I want to get that. No, I don't want to get that. It's gone. A bit cut down, and of course you can't damage the body of the big ship either, which is a shame. But again, they had to make these sacrifices to get the game to run so nice and look so nice. Because there's one thing about this version, it really runs so nice. It's really quick as well. So them graphical sacrifices have obviously been made to make it play rather excellently, and that's what it does. It does play rather excellently. All too often you'll get an R-Type port which they try and push too much into the graphics, and the gameplay suffers as a result. The Commodore 64 version is an example there, and of course the original Amstrad version as well. That's a different kettle of fish really, because that's to do with being ported from the excellent Specky version. But I tell you what, for an 8-bit version, this one's up there. This one's up there with the Spectrum. It's up there with the Amstrad remake. It's certainly up there with the Master System version as well. Bit limited for space here. Yeah, it does. Like I've said before, when you have to play R-Type 2, the original on the Game Boy, you've got to alter the way you play a little bit, because the screen is obviously limited in size, so therefore they've had to change the sort of dynamics of the positioning of your ship, where you go and stuff. The general premise is the same, but you've got to sort of adapt a little bit if you're very, very used to the arcade version or many of the home ports, such as the PC Engine version and stuff, and the aforementioned Master System version, which is still probably one of the best 8-bit versions, that or the Spectrum. So there we go, R-Type DX on the Game Boy Color, an excellent, excellent version. Thanks for watching, cheers, Nodabang out.